Hi readers! Today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Small Magic by Terry Brooks. Now, I do not have a copy of this book because I did read it as an ebook. And full disclosure, I did receive a copy of this ebook from NetGalley and Penguin Random House as an advanced reader copy. Now, technically, Small Magic is already out in stores. It came out on March 2nd. I was sent the advanced copy back in February. I did not have enough time to read it and review it before it came out, but I was finally able to get through it, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, unlike most of my reviews where I like to talk about world building, characters, plot, I kind of can't do that with this one because Small Magic is actually a collection of short stories. And from what I understand, all of the short stories in this book are all based on characters and places and world building from some of Brooks's other works. So, for example, the Shannara Chronicles, the Magical Kingdom of Landover, The Word in the Void. There's a lot of characters and places and things within this short story collection that it pulls from. So that did kind of affect my overall enjoyment of this book because I personally have not read anything else that Terry Brooks has ever written. The closest that I've come is I did see the TV show, the Shannara Chronicles, that was originally released on MTV. I believe you can stream it on Netflix now. So I am vaguely familiar with that story. Just really quick, I know it's kind of a Lord of the Rings-y type story where you have a young boy, half-elf, I believe, someone in the comments can correct me, who has to find a sword to defeat this, dark, evil guy. That's pretty much where my knowledge of Terry Brooks ends. So while I was reading Small Magic, I could tell that I was probably not the right audience for that book. Only because even though, yes, some of the stories I could just enjoy for face value, a lot of them I did feel that I was missing a personal connection. For example, there is a story in here called Al-Anon's Quest. Now, the only reason that I knew who Al-Anon was is because I watched the Shannara Chronicles TV show. I know that he's a druid. He is a character within the Shannara verse. So I knew basic stuff about him, but I don't know his whole story, his whole history within the books. So even though I knew who he was and I could appreciate his tale, I still felt like I was missing that personal connection that you get with stories. So if you are someone that has read a lot of Terry Brooks's books, you really love those characters and those stories, definitely Small Magic is probably for you. Now, I do want to mention a couple stories in here that I really, really liked. And mostly there are two stories, one in the very beginning of the book and one that ends the book, that are based on the Word in the Void. I don't know if it's Word in Void or The Word in the Void. But again, this is a series of books that Brooks has written, and the stories that appeared in Small Magic that referenced The Word in the Void were probably the two that interested me the most. So really, really quick, without going into spoilers, the opening story in this book about The Word in the Void is about a young boy. This young boy has an illness, it's incurable, and he kind of has these, what he thinks are dreams and imaginations, and he kind of goes on this quest in his mind, but what ends up happening to him has very real-life consequences. Now, this young boy in story one, this first story, comes back again in the last story of the book as a grown man. And it's been, 20 years since he had this first adventure. Now, 20 years later, he's a grown man, and someone from his past approaches him and offers him another type of quest, and if he wants to go on it. And of course he does, and that turns into this whole adventure. Now, those two stories really got me curious about Word and Void, the Word and the Void. He refers to himself, the character in the story, as a Knight of the Word. And I don't have any idea what that means. If you've read those stories, you probably do. You know more than me. But those stories in particular really, really interested me. I've always wanted to read the Shannara Chronicles, but after reading those two particular stories, that made me want to read the Word and the Void series first, before the Shannara Chronicles, because that seemed most interesting to me. It's like a little bit rooted in reality and real life, but still has a lot of fantasy elements, and I really like that. I think that sounded really, really interesting. Now, I do want to mention, of course, my least favorite short story in this book, which was called, I gotta look at my notes here for a minute. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing this right. It's called An Unfortunate Influx of Philippians. Now again, I have no idea if this is something from Brooks's previous works, but this particular short story is based on his series, The Kingdom of Landover. I believe that's what it's called. Let me just check this book real quick. The Magical Kingdom of Landover. So that's what this short story is based on. And in this short story, An Unfortunate Influx of Philippians, basically what happens is that there are these creatures called Philippians, I guess, that kind of basically like reproduce and almost like take over this kingdom. And the way in which they reproduce is quite disgusting. I don't want to give it away, but it's like really, really bizarre and really gross. And again, I don't know if that is something normal in the Magical Kingdom of Landover series. If you've read that series, please let me know below if you recognize the term Philippians at all, if that's something that you're familiar with. But that one, it just felt really bizarre to me. I did not understand it at all. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like where the story went. And that one was just a little bit too bizarre for me. Again, maybe if I was familiar with some of the characters and places, maybe I would have felt differently. I don't know. But I do think, like I said, there are some other stories in Small Magic that I was not familiar with the characters at all, and I enjoyed them perfectly well. For example, there's another one called, there's another story called Don't Tell Dad that is also based on characters from the Magical Kingdom of Landover series. It's about a young princess, and she kind of has to go out on this quest with a dragon and doesn't want her parents to find out. Even though I have no idea who these characters are, I don't know them from previous works, I still enjoyed that story because it was simple enough to connect with. A young girl going out on her own, doing something kind of rebellious, and I mean, it's a princess and a dragon, so who doesn't like that? My point is, there is a wide range of stories within Small Magic. I mean, I feel like any collection of short stories, there's always going to be some that are better than others, and that is definitely the case here. But again, if you are a Terry Brooks fan and you're familiar with his work, you're familiar with the characters, you may love all the stories. It could just be me. I don't know. At the end of the day, again, even the stories that I did enjoy, I still felt like I was missing something. So that is my non-spoiler review of Small Magic. I hope I gave you a little bit of an idea of what the book is about, what the stories are about, and Maybe this will make you more interested in it. Maybe it won't. I don't know. It's up to you to decide. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. I do new videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and sometimes on Friday. All right, everyone, happy reading. End credit scene time. All my friends were sleeping, but I was able to find Jack here for a second to say hello. Jack, are you very happy to see me? You're giving me lots of kisses. Can you say hello to everyone? Can you let everyone know what a big bad Jack you are? Oh, big stretch. You're just waking up. Who's a good boy? Who's my good Jack? Oh, thank you, Jack. You're so sweet. All right, everyone. Bye.